All right, so here's our problem set. I'm going to read through this and attack these problems, okay? So now I'm going to do all the problems, and teachers, you can make the decision with your class on how you want to attack this. But for everybody, I would like you to stick with me for at least the first two problems and then kind of go off on your own, okay? So let's get started. So we're going to solve the following problems. We're going to draw tape diagrams to help you solve. If there is a remainder, shade in a small portion of the tape diagram to represent that portion of the whole. Now, this part right here can be confusing, okay? So I wanted to show you that, all right? And that's why we need to do these two problems here, okay? So let's attack this. A concert hall contains 8 sections of seats with the same number of seats in each section. Okay. If there are 248 seats, how many seats are in each section? All right, so we're looking for the size of the group here. Okay, so let's figure that out. So let me draw my tape diagram. Great. How many seats are there total? 248 seats. If you remember, we're going to write 248 seats here. Good. And a concert hall, 8 sections of seats with the same number. So I need these 8 sections. I got to do them here. Let me show you a cool way how to do 8. So 8's an even number, so I can cut it in half and have 2 even sections, right? Then I can get 4s in each sides of these. So if I do 4 here, it's cut down the middle, cut those in half, right? Cut down the middle, cut those in half, just like that. So look, 7 cuts gives me 8 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections, just like that. You just basically keep cutting them in half, each half and half, all right? So 8 sections, I don't know how many seats are in each section, right? So let's get that figured out. So 248 divided by 8 sections. Okay, so there's the larger divisor that we're not used to yet. So we're gonna jump into this and figure out how many, what my quotient is, how many seats are in each section. So 8 fits into 2. It doesn't, right? So what 8 fits into 24, it does. As a matter of fact, it fits in nice and even. If you know your 8s, you know that it fits in 3 times evenly. And I'm going to prove that right now with my multiplication. 3 times 8 is 24. And then if I subtract, see I have 0 left over. It's 24. It's good. Now I bring down my 1's place here because I need to make sure I divide that. 8 fits into 8, right? How many times? 1 time, right? 1 8 makes 8. So 1 times 8 is 8. And I subtract, I get 0. And I get a nice even round number there, which is great. Cool. So what I'm going to do here is write this out as a sentence. So how many seats are in each section? 31 seats are in each section. Period. Great. And this one's done. It was nice. We didn't have any remainders here, so we didn't have to include the shaded portion, this little start area up here. I didn't have to do that here yet, but I will have to do it down here, okay? So let's check it out. Let's move to this one, okay? So hang with me on this one, and we'll see how we do, okay? In one day, the bakery made, let's see if I can slide that up a little bit more. Good. 719 bagels, period, stop. Cool. So this is going to be my dividend. The bagels are divided into 9 equal shipments. So that bets you those are our groups. That's going to be the number of groups right there, right? 9 equal shipments. A few bagels were left over and given to the baker. Okay, so there's going to be a remainder. See that? Okay. How many bagels did the baker get? So we need to find out the remainder, right? So we got to figure out, so the remainder is going to be our answer. How many bagels did the baker get? So the few bagels that were left over were given to the baker. So this is a reading problem as well. So let's first figure out, draw our tape diagram. So here's my rectangle. And all these bagels, this represents all the bagels that I have, okay? And that's 719 bagels. Now I know that it divided them into 9 equal shipments. So this here is 9. So 9's an odd number, so I can't just cut it in half and keep cutting it in half. What I need to do is know that there's going to be an extra left over, right? So I need to have 9 sections with an extra. So it's actually going to be 10 sections here. So if I cut it in half and do 5 and 5, so four cuts here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So I should have 10 sections here. Okay. My remainder is going to be right here. And this is what I'm doing. I'm shading in my remainder because I know the leftovers are going to be this guy right here. This is what the baker gets. And I don't know how much that is yet. So we got to divide these up into 9 equal sections to figure that out. And we don't know how much is in each section. So let's figure out what our remainder is and figure out how much the baker gets. Okay. So I have 719 bagels. I'm going to divide those into 9 equal shipments. And we'll go from there. So 9 goes into 7. It doesn't, right? So 9 into 71. Whoa, 9 times 8 is 72. That's close. So I'm going to go back 7. So this fits in 7 times. 7 times 9 is 63. I subtract that, and I'm going to get 8. Right? Good. So 9, drop that down. So I have 89. How many times does 9 fit into 89? Man, that's another close one. 9 times 10 is 90. So I know it's 1 less than 10, so it's 9 times. 9 times 9 is 81. I subtract that, and I get 8. And I got my remainder of 8 right here, okay? Good. So it looks like that there, in those 9 equal shipments, there are 79 in each shipment, right? So it looks like the leftover is 8 right here. So this would be 8. And that's how much the baker's going to get, right? A few bagels are left over. How many bagels did the baker get, right? So there it is, 8. It's not 79. It's kind of tricky here, okay? So we're going to write that out. We're going to answer the question. How many bagels did the baker get? Baker get? The baker got 8 bagels. Period. Right? Doesn't even ask me about the quotient, the 79. Just ask me about the leftover. That's pretty cool. All right. So hopefully you got the hang of it here. If not, that's okay too. You know, we're learning how to ride that bike. You're all going to learn how to ride at different rates. So I'm going to keep going. Teachers, you can interject, you can pause, you can do this yourself, whatever fits your class the best. So on to the next one. Okay. So we're here. All right. Now, the sweet shop has 614 pieces of candy. Ooh, that's nice. Hopefully you didn't say the sweatshop, right? The sweet shop. So it's candy shop. They packed the candy into bags with 7 pieces in each bag. All right, so I can tell right here that 7 pieces. I know the size of the group. I don't know the number of groups. See how this tells me the size right here? Yep. How many bags of candy did they fill? Yeah, there it is. So I have to answer this question. How many bags of candy did they fill? Then, how many pieces of candy were left? So I need to know both the quotient and the remainder and include that in my answer. So let's show this in a tape diagram first. So here's my rectangle. I always kind of make the same size rectangle if you noticed, right? And then what I do is put my divisor in right away. I know how much the whole is right here, 614 pieces of candy. Great. I do know the size of the group. The size of the group is 7 pieces. So I'm going to write that in right there, 7. What I don't know is how many bags need to be used. So it's the number of groups. So that's what I'm going to do is just kind of put a question mark there. I don't know how many that is. And it says how many pieces were left over. I already know now there's going to be a remainder right here. Okay, so I'm going to shade that in and just give myself a little, understanding that I need to know what that remainder is here. I'm going to say remainder. Remainder. Okay, so now I need to figure out what my answer is here. So let's do that. So if I have 614 pieces of candy, and I divide that into groups of 7, right? Those are groups of 7. How many groups am I going to have? And I need to know that, and I need to know my remainder. So 7 fits into 6. Well, it doesn't. So 7 fits into 61. How many times? Okay. So I know 7 times 9 is 63, and that's too much. So I'm going to go one less than 9. How about 8? 7 times 8. Yeah, that's going to be it. So I'm going to put down my 8 here. 8 times 7 is 56. And I subtract that, I get 5. Good. All right. So 4, bring down that. 7 fits into 54. Well, I know 7 times 8 is 56, so 1 less than 8 is going to be 7. 7 times 7 is 49. There we go. Good. And you notice I'm not doing the whole crossing out here. You can if you want, but I know that. I'm just doing this in my head. 54 minus 49, right? I'm looking at it as the whole number. I know 1 more on 49 gets me to 50, and then 4 more to 54, so 4 and 1 is 5. So my remainder here is 5. So it looks like there's 87 bags of candy with 5 left over. Cool. So 87 bags of candy with 5 left over. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write it out. So they filled 87 bags of candy and 5 pieces were left over. Period. Great. There it is. Awesome. Let's move on to the next one. I think there's just 2 left over. It's good. It's kind of fun. All right. Here we go. There's my 4. Okay. There were 904 children signed up for the relay race. Period. Stop. There's all those kids. So that's going to be the size of my rectangle. 904 children signed up for the relay race. That's a lot of kids. Okay. If there were 6 children on each team, oh, I know the size of the group. So I'm going to be looking for number of groups. So it's each team. How many teams were made? Yep. There's my question. The remaining children served as referees. There's my remainder. So I know I'm going to have a remainder. How many children served as referees? So only have to answer as my remainder. My remainder is what I'm looking for here. Great. Let's show that down here. So I'm going to put down my rectangle, as I usually do. Just put that right out there. 904 children makes up the whole thing. 904. I am going to have a remainder, so I'm going to put that little sliver on the end there, shade it in, and then put down a little arrow here and make sure my number goes in there. Okay, so I have my size of the group right here. Remember, we're making 6 children on each team, so there's 6. I don't know how many teams are going to be, but I need to know this. So first, I got to do my division to find my remainder. So let's do it. So I have 904 divided into groups of 6. Okay, I can do that. Cool. So this one says, so 6 goes into 9. It does. Cool. So I can do that. So 6 into 9 goes 1 time. 1 6 will fit in there. 1 times 6 is 6. I subtract, I get 3. I'm good. Start the process over again. Now here's that 0 in my dividend. So that I need to drop that down to show 30. How many times does 6 fit into 30? Ooh, nice. An even 5 times. That's great. 5 times 6 is 30. And I get 0. Perfect. Then I drop down my 4 here. 6 goes into 4. Well, it doesn't, but I have to show it. It doesn't fit in 0 times. I need to hold that ones place there. 0 times 6 is 0. I subtract. I get 4, and there's my remainder. So there's my answer. It was 4. Good. So I'm going to write a little 4 in there. Okay? So I figured it out. There's going to be 150 teams with 4 left over, right? So I need to include that. I say, there's a question, and how many? So there's 150 teams, and 4 kids served as referees. So let's write that in. 150 teams, were made for children served as referees. Period. Referees is a funny word. It's one of those words I notice. All right, there it is. Good. And then we have the last problem here, okay? And then we're done. Here we go. Let's check it out. All right. 1,188 kilograms of rice were divided into 7 sacks. I know the number of groups, right? 7 sacks is the number of groups. So I have 1,188 kilograms of rice divided into 7 sacks. It tells me right there. Period, stop. So divide it into 7 sacks, and there is my dividend. Great. So now, how many kilograms of rice are in 6 sacks of rice? Okay. How many kilograms of rice remain? So I have to know both here, right? No problem. Show this as a tape diagram. So rectangle first. The whole thing represents 1,188. I will have a remainder left over, so I'm going to put a little box in the end, shade that in, show that as my remainder. Okay. Then there are 6, so I need to make 6 sections here, right? I do. So I need to make 6 sections. So 1 down the middle, and then 2 more cuts. So I have 5 cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. And I don't know the size of the group. Great. Good. Oh, no, so it needs to be 7 cuts. So I'm just going to squeeze in another cut right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to take 1,188. When I'm doing the division, a lot of you might notice I don't usually put the comma in here. It gets in my way. It's more confusing, so I leave it out when I'm doing the division. But I would do it in my answer as a quotient, if it were in thousands. Okay, 7 fits into 1. It doesn't. So 7 fits into 11. I know that answer right away. It's just 1 time. So I'm going to write that 1 directly over this part right here. 1 times 7 is 7. I subtract, I get 4. Good. I bring down my 8. How many times does 7 fit into 48? I know 6 times 8 is 48. 7 times 7 is 49. I know that one really well. That's too high though. So I'm going to bring it back 1 and say 6. 7 fits into 48 6 times. And I'll prove it with multiplication. 6 times 7 is 42. I subtract, I get 6, right? Good. Then I bring down my 8, 68. All right, 7 fits into 68. Well, I know 7 times 10 is 70, so it's 1 less than 10. It's got to be 9. 9 times 7 is 63. Write it down nice and neat. I end up with 5. And that's my remainder. I got a remainder of 5. Good. So I need to answer my question here. It says, how many kilograms of rice are in 6 packs of rice? Oh, this is a 2-step problem, right? It is. I just noticed that. You see that 6 sacks right there? I found out how many are in 1 sack. I got to find out how many in 6 sacks. I can do that. The remainder will remain the same. But I got to find out here how many are in 6 sacks. Right there. Okay, cool. So what do I do? Well, I have 5 groups of 169. So if I just, or 6 groups of 169. If I just multiply it by 6, I'll know. So let's do that. So it's 169 in 1 sack, and then I multiply it by 6. Okay? 6 times 9 is 54. Carry the 5. 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 5 is 41. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 4 is 10. Now I put my comma in. There it is. So it looks like in 6 sacks of rice, I got 1,014 kilograms. And it would be 5 kilograms of rice left. So let's squeeze this answer in. I'm gonna squeeze it in down here so I can have room to write. So there are 1,014 kilograms of rice in 6 sacks, period. 5 kilograms of rice are left over, period. There it is. Let me zoom out. Good. All right. I almost missed that again. I got to read more carefully. I'm glad I'm rereading it as I go, because then I can catch those. There's my work, and I look on the other side and I look at my work, and I'm proud of my work. I can tell, tape diagram. Here's my work, here's my written part. Just like that all the way through. All right, kids, that concludes today's lesson. Hopefully it went well for you. We will see you tomorrow to finish up Module 3. All right, have a good night.